some kind of prayer or good words with dining. And almost all of them boil down to this: for what I'm about to receive, let me be truly thankful. It's a great thought. But what is thankful and what's it mean to be thankful? Well, we may not always agree on that. So when I was a kid, my dad was an engineer, and he was working in the field of robotics, which was brand new back then. So there he was all day in a suit, and he'd come home at night, and he would try to work this little homestead farm that we lived on. He was up before dawn. He was still up at close to midnight. And we had all the stuff that you see in your mind when I say farm, except maybe the quaint little outhouse, and that wasn't for Dad's lack of trying. But working on a farm is not easy. And since Dad couldn't find any helpful farm elves, he had the next best thing: his own private little farm gnomes. From the time I was 6 until I left home at 18, you could have told me that indentured servitude was illegal, and I would have asked if you met my father. My parents' dedication to healthy eating and to responsible and ethical animal husbandry was absolute, and to this day, I am not sure what would have happened if we hadn't gotten a harvest in. As a kid, I was quite convinced we were going to be reenacting some of the starvation bits from Little House on the Prairie. So when we sat down to Thanksgiving dinner, it was with a massive sigh of relief. We had done it. We made it to another November. My hands would have calluses from the summer and the fall and the hoeing and the picking and the digging and the canning. I still have a permanent callus here from a shelling peg used to do popcorn and to take it off the kernels. We had memories of December's butchering in an ice-cold farmyard, standing and having to dip your hands in boiling water quick and pull them out fast so they wouldn't freeze. I knew what the burn of salt pickle used to coat a country ham felt like. Everything on the table was ours, and our thanks were bone deep, exhausted. For what I am about to receive, let me be truly thankful. But thankfulness isn't just recognition of what you've been given through luck or hard work or because you're owed, or maybe just because you were in the right place at the right time. To be really thankful, you have to understand what made it possible for you to have what you have. The people and the history, the shoulders and the backs that you stand on. And here's the important bit: not to be ashamed of yourself. History happened. You don't deserve shame because, this land was stolen. But you do have to understand it. You have to honor it. I want to read you a letter written by Leonard Peltier of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Leonard's incarcerated at the U.S. Penitentiary in Coleman, Florida. He was convicted in 1977 in connection with a shootout with U.S. government forces. 2 FBI agents came onto reservation land. 1 young Native American lost his life in the gun battle. Peltier is considered a political prisoner of war by many activists. This is his statement about Thanksgiving, and he wrote it this year and released it through the Leonard Peltier Defense Committee. He writes, "The year of 2019 is coming to a close, and with it, the day most Americans set aside as a day for Thanksgiving. As I let my mind wander beyond the steel bars and concrete walls, I try to imagine what the people who live outside the prison gates are doing and what they're thinking. Do they ever think of the indigenous people who were forced from their homelands? Do they understand that with every step they take, no matter what direction, they're walking on stolen land? Can they imagine, even for a minute, what it was like to watch the suffering, to be made to keep pushing west in freezing temperatures with little or no food. These were my people, and this was our land. There was a time when we enjoyed freedom and were able to hunt buffalo and gather food and sacred medicine. We were able to fish, and we enjoyed the clean, clear water. My people were generous. We shared everything we had, including the knowledge of how to survive long, harsh winters or hot, humid summers. We were appreciative of the gifts from our Creator. We remembered to give thanks on a daily basis. We had ceremonies and special dances that were a celebration of life. He says, with the coming of foreigners to our shores, and we are the foreigners he is talking about. With the coming of foreigners to our shores, life as we knew it would change drastically. Individual ownership was foreign to my people. Fences unheard of back then. We were communal. We took care of each other. Our grandparents were not isolated from us. They were wisdom keepers and storytellers, an important link in our families. And babies, they were and are our future. Look at the brilliant young people who put themselves at risk fighting to keep our water and our environment clean and safe for generations yet to come. They're willing to confront the giant multinational corporations by educating the general public of the devastation caused, and I smile with hope. I smile with hope when I think of them. They are fearless and ready to speak the truth to all who are willing to listen. We also remember our brothers and sisters of Bolivia who are rioting in support of the first indigenous president, Evo Morales. His commitment to the people, the land, their resources, and protection against corruption is commendable. We recognize and identify with that struggle so well. So today, and here's the neat part, he doesn't speak out to shame anyone. Today, I thank all of the people who are willing to have an open mind, who are willing to accept the responsibility of planning for 7 generations ahead. Those who remember the sacrifices made by our ancestors so we can continue to speak our own language and practice our own way of thankfulness in our own skin, and that we will always acknowledge and respect the indigenous lineage that we carry. And for those of you who are thankful that you have enough food to feed your families, please give to those who aren't as fortunate. If you have a warm and comfortable shelter to live in, please give to those who are cold and homeless. If you see someone hurting and in need of a kind word, be that person who steps forward and lends a hand, and especially when you see injustice anywhere, please be brave enough to speak up and confront it. I want to thank all who are kind enough to hold me and my family in your thoughts and prayers. There isn't a minute in any day that passes without me hoping that this will be the day I will be granted freedom. I long for the day I can smell clean, fresh air, feel a gentle breeze in my hair, and witness the clouds as their movement hides the sun and the moon shines a light on the path to the sacred. That would truly be a day I could call a day of thanksgiving. Thank you for listening to whomever is voicing my words. My spirit is there with you. Dokasha, in the spirit of Crazy Horse, Leonard Peltier. So as Thanksgiving approaches this year, ask yourself, who are the people at my table, both real and living and metaphorical? Whose shoulders do you stand on? Who went before you to make your blessings possible? And what blessings will you be thankful for, not just today, but every day going forward? How will you bless others with your generosity? Some of what we have is earned through hard work and deep thought. Some is ours by birth, a function of cultural privilege, whether we want it or not. Some is because we stand on stolen ground and know we cannot turn back the clock. Share what you have. Invite someone to share your meal, not just for the holidays, but some weird Tuesday in February, some awkward day in June, and let us give thanks. Help us to stop racial profiling. Help us to stop what's happening at the border, and let us give thanks. Bring a shelter animal home forever. Hug a child that needs a hug, maybe even foster, and let us give thanks. Teach a community class, volunteer to help with an urban cleanup. Welcome an immigrant, stand up for the oppressed. Hold out hope for the hopeless and the imprisoned, and let us give thanks. Every day as you receive, let us give thanks, and may your life be a prayer. For what I am about to receive, let me be truly thankful.